Good afternoon, and thank you for choosing Across the Fence. I'm Will Michael in for Fran Stoddard. The University of Vermont continues to climb in national rankings for research. According to the National Science Foundation, UVM now ranks 85th in the nation among 415 public research universities. Now that's a climb of 16 spots in the rankings during a time in which UVM attracted more than $250 million for research, an all-time record. To celebrate the significant advancements in research, the university is gearing up for its second annual Research Week, set for April 17th. To learn more, we are joined this afternoon by UVM's Vice President for Research, Kirk Dombrowski. Vice President Dombrowski came to UVM 3 years ago from the University of Nebraska, where he held several leadership positions, including as founding director of Nebraska's Rural Drug Addiction Research Center. So thank you, Vice President Dombrowski, for being with us this afternoon.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So right off the start, what's UVM Research Week?
UVM Research Week is a chance for us to put all of our sort of research strengths and research activities up for public view. It's a combination of a celebration of the kind of research that's going on and a little bit of showing off about some of the great facilities we have here, some of the tremendous undergraduate research and our postdoctoral core, which is really strong. So it's partly a celebration, partly a chance for folks to get to know us a little bit better, and a chance to really have some fun. We have giveaways and raffles and research slams and the kind of things that help people stay excited about the work that we're doing.
Well, certainly something to celebrate. So congratulations on all this excellent news regarding research at UVM. What does this mean to a current UVM student? What does it mean to somebody who's thinking about applying or enrolling at the University of Vermont? What does it mean?
Sure, great question. Undergraduates these days are looking for a different college experience than they were. I won't even say how long ago I was an undergraduate, but years ago, we thought of college as an opportunity to get the information we needed to get a career. These days, students come looking to make a difference in the world from the beginning of their college experience. And so one of the things that research does for undergraduates and prospective undergraduates is that it puts them in touch with solving the world's problems. It allows them to think about their education as having an impact right from the moment they get here. So whether they're measuring trees, working in maple, studying cold region weather, working in a research clinic, or in a bench science in biochemistry, our students get their hands on research and impactful kinds of activities right from the day they get here. And when you couple that with internships and a really strong ethical engagement with the state and its future, students can come here now and be in the impact area, right from the day they get here. And that's something we think they want. It's something we think is a very positive turn in higher education, and something that really fits with young people today. I have 2 kids in their 20s, and they want to be doing things that make a difference. And we think that that's a really vital part of an education that research provides, like no other part.
So you cited a number of great examples, and there are others solving worldwide problems like pollinators, or a very specific issue here in Vermont, snow storage research, that idea of how are we going to have ski seasons and things like that. And then there's this next example, and maybe talk a little bit about this particular professor and some of his work around the world.
Yeah, that's Arne Bomblies from our College of Engineering and Mathematical Sciences. He's been the director of our large state EPSCoR program for a number of years, and he also is involved in some broad collaborative research up on Mount Mansfield and across the state on how snowpack is changing and affecting, the entire water system of Vermont, and with many parallels and corollaries to water systems throughout the United States. We're really excited about standing up a new Water Institute. It's a collaborative NOAA, National Oceanographic and Atmospheric Administration program. It's really going to centralize all of our water, weather, and snow especially is really critical. And this is work that has national implications. And Arna's a great leader in that space. I saw the pollinators up there before. We have folks like Taylor Ricketts and our Gund Institute, which is really focused on natural resources, natural areas, and their future. And this is really vital research endeavor that, as we were talking about before, students can see the immediate importance of. And it fulfills part of our land grant mission, which has been a very high priority for President Garamella. It's been a high priority for my office, is how do we take the kinds of things that are happening at the university and allow them and enable them to have an immediate impact on farms, on the Lake Champlain water basin, and really across all of the natural areas of Vermont, which are vital to our state.
So as part of the April's Research Week, you're talking about examples of ways students can get involved. One of the things you're doing is bringing entities together on and off campus. The folks that make the research and scholarship possible at UVM. I looked through this on the website. There's more than 40 of these partners. Can you talk a little bit about these partnerships and about opportunities at the university?
Absolutely. Partnership is the watchword of my office right now, and we're actually in the process of standing up a new Institute for Rural Partnerships that I'd be happy to talk about a little bit, perhaps again in the future as this comes more into focus. But one of the things that we think is vital to having an impact in the state is collaborating to help solve the problems that communities, nonprofits, and for-profit businesses are facing. One of the elements of Research Week that we're really excited about is our Vermont Clean and Resilient Energy Conference. This follows on a consortium we put together, the Vermont Clean and Resilient Energy Consortium. And this was really a partnership. I have to say a special thank you to Carrick Johnson at Velco, who really helped bring this together. Folks like Tom Murray at Vermont Gas, where we brought a lot of the folks in the energy space together, Adam Knutson, Dynapower, and folks who are really interested in a clean energy future for Vermont. We have a very aggressive clean energy and renewables energy goal for the state, and we think that one of the ways that the university can help the state is by being part of that. So we have put a lot of energy, effort, resources into areas that we think are of genuine collaboration with Vermont businesses that are really working to create the next Vermont, to create a livable future in rural areas and urban areas throughout the state. And so the VCREC, as we call it, meets quarterly. It has 15 university, government, and industry partners, and we're collaborating on projects already that involve funding from the Department of Energy on Energy Shed and clean energy futures, working on areas of green hydrogen, a number of really vital projects that we think are going to have a large impact on the state by working collaboratively. And these are, again, we really mean partnership when we say it. We have researchers from Green Mountain Power who work directly with our researchers at UVM on collaborative projects about renewable energy futures. And that kind of partnership can fulfill our land grant in a really concrete way. And so we're excited about that. We have other partnerships across the state.
I'm sorry, I want to jump in because we just have a couple of minutes left. And I want to point out that another key piece of Research Week focuses on students, the Student Research Conference. So how are UVM undergraduates involved in research?
Yeah, undergraduates play a huge role in self-driven research across the campus. They'll do thesis research under a specific faculty member. They work in biochemistry labs. They're engaged in our farm research through extension and agroecology. So they're involved in just about every aspect of research on campus. And once a year, we have, as part of that, an opportunity for those students to present their research, now as part of Research Week, in a poster session, in paper conference presentations, et cetera.
I have been to that over the last several years. I must say, very impressive. Another big emphasis beyond the student research is bringing in, and you've talked about this, the entrepreneurs, the business leaders from across Vermont and New England. With the time we have left, touch on what you're doing, why you're doing it.
Yeah, I think, again, regional impact and partnership with business leaders is a big part of the land grant mission. We do far more than applied research at the University of Vermont. We do basic research across many, many departments. But the translation of that basic research into real world impacts is critical. We use the term like the National Science Foundation, of use-inspired research to describe those areas where we work directly with businesses to try and solve some very straightforward problems. And these can be problems in water and runoff. They can be carbon sequestration problems on farms. They can be really practical kinds of problems like mastitis in the dairy industry. And in all of those ways, try and bring faculty, students, graduate students together with business leaders to say, what are the problems and how can we help?
Well, you've mentioned this phrase a few times. I'm going to bring it up again, the land grant mission. And as we wrap up, talk a little bit about what that means today to a Vermonter. We talk about research at UVM. What's the land grant mission mean in the 21st century?
Yeah, this is something that's really vital across the country. The original version of the land grant was a lot of ag tech and knowledge transfer. But as the 20th century has grown more sophisticated, this has involved folks from across the university. So we know that rural food systems and rural health are connected. So the work that we do in health is very much a part of the land grant mission. We know that folks on farms today are living in a highly technological world. So our engineering department is really actively involved in things that impact farms right away.
Kirk,
you would never have thought.
Yeah. I'm sorry, I do need to jump in as we're out of time. It's clear that we need to have you back again. There's a lot to talk about. But as we say goodbye, I'm going to point out, to learn more about research at UVM, including the upcoming Research Week, we've listed a website. Check it out. All kinds of information about the April 17th Research Week. Vice President Dombrowski, thank you very much for being with us.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And that is our program for today. We know you have choices, so thanks for choosing us. I'm Will Michael, inviting you to join us back here each weekday afternoon for another visit across the fence.